For decades, ancient Egyptian civilization has existed in our minds as an image of powerful pharaohs ruling from gilded thrones, of mummies buried deep beneath the sand, and of towering pyramids stretching skyward under the scorching desert sun. And yet, those images have largely been shaped not by history itself, but by blockbuster films, adventure novels, and television programs laced with mystery. We've grown familiar with the sight of the three great pyramids on the Giza Plateau, as if they were all that remained of a once glorious empire. But what if I told you that was just the surface? What if everything we believe we know about Egypt is nothing more than broken pieces, fragments of a far larger picture we've barely begun to understand? Because those majestic structures may not have been built solely to represent power or religion. They may, in fact, be something more, gateways to a body of knowledge that modern humanity has yet to uncover. There is one theory, long dismissed as fringe, that is now slowly drawing the attention of archaeologists, physicists, and historians once again. The possibility that a fourth pyramid, crafted from black stone, once stood upon the Giza Plateau, only to disappear without a trace. And if this fourth pyramid truly existed, it would not simply be another archaeological find. It could reshape our understanding of ancient Egypt, and perhaps even force us to reconsider the history of humankind itself. So fasten your seatbelt as we dive into today's mystery. But first, you just might find yourself incredibly lucky if you like and subscribe before this video ends. Most of us grew up with the familiar image of three great pyramids standing tall in the Egyptian desert, aligned mysteriously with the three stars of Orion's belt. But there is something that's rarely mentioned. Something that suggests there may have once been a fourth pyramid made of black stone, and that it served a purpose entirely unlike the others. The first mention of this structure comes from the inked hand of an 18th century Danish explorer named Frederick Ludvig Norden. During his expedition from Ethiopia to Egypt in 1737, he not only sketched ancient monuments and architecture with remarkable memory and artistic precision, but also described a structure he referred to as the fourth pyramid, one that looked nothing like the three world-famous pyramids we know today. According to his manuscript and detailed notes, this structure stood isolated to the west, lacking the smooth limestone casing seen on the other pyramids. Most striking of all, it was built from a type of black stone, harder even than regular granite. Its apex did not come to a sharp point, but instead was topped with an enormous flat slab, as if it once held something of great significance. And yet, strangely, nearly all modern scholars reject the existence of this pyramid. They claim Norden was mistaken. They argue he might have seen the remains of a ruined structure, or perhaps misidentified a natural hill under the dimming glow of the sunset. But in his hand-drawn map, and in his precise written description of the material and form, there are no signs of fabrication, none of the errors or embellishments typically found in 18th century manuscripts. And more importantly, Norden was not the only one to speak of it. Several decades later, a French scholar named Louis de Brosses, in an entirely separate study, also mentioned the presence of a black pyramid, one he claimed once existed, but for reasons unknown, has been removed from all official records. Two explorers, living in different eras, unrelated, unconnected, and yet both describe something that the modern world seems intent on forgetting. Was that merely a coincidence? For thousands of years, the Giza Plateau has lain exposed beneath the sun and the sands of the Middle East, silently guarding layers of memory that have never truly been uncovered. But what makes this story even more strange is that while people continue to debate whether this black pyramid ever existed, modern technology has begun to reveal signs that suggest otherwise. In the first decade of the 21st century, the advancement of terrain satellites, ground-penetrating radar, and remote sensing technology ushered in a new era for archaeology. Thanks to these electronic eyes in the sky, scientists were now able to see what the human eye could never detect. At the end of 2020, a team of international archaeologists and historians began an excavation in a desert region near Luxor, approximately 300 miles south of Cairo. Their original goal was not to search for a forgotten black pyramid, but rather to trace the remnants of a lost city believed to have once existed during the golden age of ancient Egypt. But what they uncovered left the archaeological world in stunned silence. Beneath the sand, walls of sun-baked clay emerged, stacked to form clearly defined rooms, all connected by long, straight corridors. Everyday tools, decorative objects, even molds used to cast golden amulets were all found intact, as if the city had only recently been abandoned. According to research, this city was built during the reign of Amenhotep III, one of the most powerful and wealthy pharaohs in Egyptian history. The Egyptian government would later give it a poetic name, the Lost Golden City. And yet, amid all the excitement surrounding this discovery, something far stranger was found. Buried several dozen meters deeper beneath the surface, scientists identified a clearly defined geometric shape with sharp right angles, a heavy mass, and a radar signature that suggested it was a massive man-made block of stone. No one dared to declare what it was immediately, but there was one detail that stood out. When this magnetic coordinate was connected in a straight line with the three main pyramids on the Giza Plateau, it matched perfectly with the hand-drawn illustration made by Frederick Norden in the 18th century. There is a small detail in Frederick Norden's notes that many people tend to overlook. The fourth pyramid was said to be constructed entirely from a type of black stone, one harder than even granite. It had no polished white limestone casing like the other pyramids, no entrance, no decorative carvings. At first glance, this might seem like a mere architectural observation, but when viewed through the lens of ancient Egyptian symbolic culture, the implications become far more profound. In ancient belief, black was not simply a color of death or darkness. On the contrary, black symbolized rebirth. It was the color of the fertile silt deposited by the Nile after each flood season. It was the darkness the sun had to journey through each night in order to rise again at dawn. It was the realm of the underworld, where the soul began its journey toward a new cycle of life. And so, the choice to construct a pyramid entirely from black stone could not have been accidental. This theory becomes even more compelling when researchers analyze the mineral composition of ancient black stone fragments previously discovered scattered within royal tomb complexes. This material was typically reserved for sacred objects, such as sarcophagus cases, mummification chests, and statues of deities. Its resistance to erosion and its durability exceeded even that of standard granite. And if a full-scale pyramid were built entirely of this black stone, then it could not have been intended as a mere tomb. Experts have long noted an astonishing characteristic of the stone blocks used in Egyptian pyramids. They are fitted together with such precision that not even a razor blade can slide between the seams. This construction technique continues to baffle modern engineers. But when examined from the perspective of energy transmission, the structure begins to resemble an insulating or energy-preserving system, similar in concept to how high-voltage cables are engineered today. And it doesn't end there. The materials found within the interior chambers of the pyramids are composed of substances known to possess semiconductive or electromagnetic amplification properties. Granite, for example, can ionize air and increase electrical conductivity in an enclosed space. When these elements are considered together, a new question emerges. Were the pyramids of Egypt truly just burial tombs, or were they part of an energy system operating on principles we have yet to comprehend? It could have been a power storage facility, a central amplifier, or even a wireless energy transmitter, mirroring the very same concepts that Nikola Tesla would explore more than 3,000 years later. In fact, some archaeologists have suggested that the alignment of the three main pyramids and the fourth point where the Black Pyramid was said to have stood may form a geometric energy grid corresponding to intersections in the Earth's magnetic field. And if that's true, then the Black Pyramid wasn't merely architecture. It was a deliberately designed structure embedded with the knowledge of a civilization whose name we may no longer even remember. If what Frederick Norden sketched in his 1737 map was true, then the world has misunderstood the Giza Plateau for more than 2 centuries. But what makes this even harder to explain is not the notion that the Black Pyramid once existed, but that it vanished from human awareness as if it had never been there at all. From the mid-18th century to this very day, not a single official archaeological excavation has acknowledged the existence of an isolated Black Pyramid to the west of Giza. Modern researchers have either remained silent or dismissed the idea altogether, offering simple explanations that it was an optical illusion, a misinterpretation, or perhaps just the product of an imaginative traveler. But if it was simply a mistake, then why did another explorer from the very same century, Paul Lucas, also produce a similar drawing? Why have historical documents that describe 4 pyramids consistently been pushed to the margins of academic discourse? Part of the answer may lie in the idea that some truths are too great and must be kept silent. In the history of Egyptian archaeology, there have been numerous cases where shocking discoveries were abruptly halted without adequate explanation. For instance, in 2008, an international team of scientists conducted a survey of the Hawara Desert, located just over 90 kilometers south of Cairo. Using advanced ground-penetrating radar, they discovered an enormous subterranean structure containing thousands of rooms, corridors, and stone walls, matching ancient descriptions of Egypt's mythical labyrinth. And yet, strangely, almost immediately after the announcement was made, the entire project was forced to shut down by Egyptian authorities. All results, diagrams, and research findings were prohibited from public release. The scientists involved were asked to remain silent, and media coverage of the event simply disappeared. So what happened? Was the government hiding a discovery so significant that it could alter not only the timeline of ancient Egypt, but challenge our entire understanding of human civilization? Many believe that the Black Pyramid truly did once stand, but for reasons unknown, it may have been dismantled during the early 18th century as Cairo began to expand. One theory suggests that, in order to construct new parts of the city, builders may have sourced stone from an unnamed structure located west of Giza. And because that structure was never officially documented, no one questioned what it had once been. Others have proposed a bolder theory, that the Black Pyramid was never destroyed, only hidden. It may still lie buried beneath thick layers of sand, obscured beneath modern developments. In fact, a few satellite images from recent years have shown geological anomalies in the western region of the Giza Plateau, and this has led to renewed speculation that something may still be there, something beyond our current ability to explain. You may not believe in every mystery just shared, but if this story made you pause even for a moment to reflect, then perhaps the secrets of ancient Egypt still hold a powerful presence within each of us. Because beneath the silent sands of the Giza Plateau, who's to say there aren't truths still waiting to be revealed? If you feel, like many others, that something remains unresolved, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you'd like to continue journeying through the forgotten mysteries of time, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one to walk with me through the dust of the past and glimpse a vision of Egypt the world has yet to see.